The Pacific Ocean is considered the largest of them on the planet, and many people claim to know everything about it. However, little do they realize that only small portions have been discovered so far. At this moment, it's less than 10%. This leaves the burning questions of what could possibly be lurking down there. A number of people think that new types of undiscovered organic entities could be living in the undiscovered areas of the Pacific and that no one is looking hard enough. Of course, some ways that mysteries are formed is from hearing sounds that no one else has ever heard, and as the deepest depths of the Pacific are pitch black, with light having certain limits, sounds are still limitless. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that ever since the mid-20th century up to today, there have been strange sounds that have been recorded by hydrophones all across the Pacific, and although a number of them might have explanations, the rest of them do not. And it is these sounds that form the mysteries we are going to get into. I'm the Microsoft mic of Caden Van Seal's YouTube channel or channels, and these are the strangest sounds to have been recorded throughout the Pacific Ocean. Most of these sounds were recorded during the 1990s, but most of the sounds recorded that decade were recorded in 1997. Many YouTubers have already made videos showcasing these sounds, but there are some things they never knew about or addressed, even things Caden might actually have ideas about. So without further ado, let's get into it. Our first sound is known as the bloop, which is considered the most popular underwater sound ever recorded to people, including the YouTubers starting off their lists with this exact sound. Recorded in 1997, the bloop is a sound with an ultra-low frequency of some sort. It has been sped up 16 times on the internet, making it sound like bubbles forming, rising and popping, hence how it earned its name. The original speed makes it sound eerie, and there could be two versions of the sound. Here it is sped up 16 times. Now here are the two versions. This is version 1. Fair reminder, Caden cropped the two versions to shorten the time. Now, here is version 2, which could be like the previous one, but with dongled quality or something. The three hydrophones that picked up this sound were around 3,000 miles away from them. There were at first theories that the sound was being made by the allegedly existing Cthulhu, a deity from Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft, as the coordinates of the sound were close to the ones for where Lilith was thought to be. Very unlikely, because of fiction. Another theory that exists is, because the sound was louder than the call of the blue whale, the loudest known animal at this moment, this could be a new and larger animal, possibly a new type of whale, or a hybrid between it and another species. Now, in 2012, the NOAA claimed that the bloop was being made by calving icebergs in Antarctica, putting the mystery to rest. However, the mystery would be reopened in later years. In 2015, Russian submarines recorded a sound eerily similar to that of the bloop. They got an exact match after overlapping it with the original recording from 1997. The new finding could be debunking the NOAA's claims, and some people, including anonymous ones, might have some ideas.
Noah had it right the first time, and they know it. The icequake theory was nothing more than a government cover story, just like a weather balloon in the Roswell incident. The government knows exactly what it is, the church knows what it is, and we know what it is. He's coming.
There might not be true knowledge of what could be causing the bloop, but some could hope to imagine. However, the bloop isn't the only sound out there. There are many others we'll be getting into. Our next sound was the first to be recorded in the 1990s, having been recorded in August of 1991. It is known as the upsweep, and sometimes the V is removed from the name. The reason for its name is because of its narrowband upsweeping sounds that would sound similar to dark sci-fi tracks built for Atmosphere or scores by Georgi Lagigi. Here is the sound at 16 times no, 20 times speed, which makes it sound like an odd alarm. Now here it is at normal speed, sounding like a chorus coming straight from the depths of the demonic realm. The original version is 9 minutes long on YouTube, and has been cropped to save time. There are a few characteristics of this sound. One characteristic is that in spring and autumn, it is louder, and in winter and summer, it is quiet. The other is that, since it was first recorded in August 1991, the overall noise level has been annually decreasing, but can still be heard throughout the Pacific. It isn't known what could be making this sound, but experts choose to theorize that it's being caused by underwater volcanic activity. There are many other theories out there, though Caden chose to come up with an idea that a portal might be in the Pacific, kind of like in Pacific Rim. The upsweeping sounds are coming from the other side, and the overall noise level decreasing is the result of whoever is on the other side slowly closing the portal. Possibly, the only true way of knowing what's causing upsweep is by getting straight to the source and analyzing it to see whether there are volcanoes, portals, or other things making it. However, with the overall noise level decreasing annually, time is limited, and some could only hope that they find out before it is too late. Number 3 on our list is the whistle. Like the bloop, it was also recorded in 1997. But unlike it and upsweep, it was picked up on one hydrophone, which could prove it to be local, at least nearby the hydrophone that picked it up. The sound level has a super low frequency, so headphone users with their sound at the correct volume and being or having been born with good ears might be able to hear it. Here it is sped up 16 times. There are people who have listened to this sound and gotten vibes that remind them of the film Alien directed by Ridley Scott. Now, here is a cropped version of the sound at its original speed. There are a few ideas on what could be making the sound. One idea could be an unknown sea animal making a low moan of that many hertz, or underwater volcanic activity. Either way, there might still be ways of finding out. Our fourth sound is known as the boing, and it is one of the sounds on our list that actually has an explanation. It was recorded in the 1950s off the coasts of Hawaii and California and remained unidentified for about half a century. Here is the sound. It was heard multiple times since the 50s. And in the early 2000s, U.S. research teams scrambled their boats to track the source. They discovered the makers of the boing to be minke whales, putting the mystery at rest, making the boing a sound to have an explanation. This next sound here is known as Joya, recorded on March 1st of Caden's birth year, 1999, 6 days before Stanley Kubrick died. Recorded annually since 1999, Joya sounds like something that could be howling deep in the sea. Here is the sound sped up 16 times. And here is Joya at normal speed. Caden cropping the sound a bit to cut the unnecessary parts out isn't important. What is important is where the sound known as Joya could possibly be coming from. Theorists like the NOAA and others could possibly be claiming that the sound known as Joya could actually be of an iceberg scraping the ocean floor. There are also theorists with a different idea, being that Joya is the sound of an animal as it, again, sounds like something howling throughout the Pacific. Yet, here's to hoping that the origin of the sound is actually solved. Joya was the final sound recorded in the 90s, but now we are going to talk about the third and second to last sound recorded in 1997. It is known as slow down, as it sounds like something reminding people of something slowing down. Because it has a descending frequency, it sounds like something out of a horror film. Here is the sped up sound, which is 16 times the original speed, as always. And here is the first part of the sound at its original speed. The entire thing could create a proper sense of horror. Theories about slowdown exist, stating that an iceberg could be scraping the ocean floor. The iceberg would have to be a large enough size to produce a sound lasting between 4 to 5 minutes. Other theories are that it could be some kind of known or unknown sea creature emerging from its deep slumber. Who knows? We can only hope we find out, and with pure and non-fabricated concrete evidence. This sound we are going to talk about right now is known as bioduck, since it has a quack-like quality that is normally made by waterfowl. Recorded off the coasts of Australia and Antarctica in the 1960s during the Cold War, it horrified a lot of people, including Soviet submarines, thinking the sound was coming from new technology from NATO targeting them. Here is the sound itself. In recent years, scientists have put tags on Antarctic minke whales and used them to learn that they were the ones making the bioduck noise. Little is known about them to this day, and some people think that this finding fails to explain the strange encounters that the Soviets endured. The final sound to be recorded in 1997 is known as the train, but it is not the final one we will be showcasing. It is dubbed the train, as it sounds like train wheels rolling on rails. Here is the 16 times sped up version of the sound once again. The original sound is 9 minutes long, so here is only the first part. The train could also be sounding like a steam locomotive blowing steam out of its top, at least to some people that Caden and I will not name drop. As for what could be making the sound, it could be ice friction, at least what the NOA would choose to think. The sound could also be possibly made by a whaling ghost or a certain type of whale. Either way, here's to hoping that the mystery gets solved, along with the others. This sound is one of two recorded during the 1980s. It is known as 52 Hertz Wail, or the world's loneliest whale, because it is exactly what a whale would make, only that it's an astonishing 52 Hertz. Over the years, it has deepened from 52 Hz to 49, showing signs of the whale aging. Here is a low-quality version of the sound itself at 10 times speed. Better quality versions are available on YouTube. The original version will not be shown, just to clarify. Now, the whale making this could be a whale hybrid, a malformed/injured whale, or a mix of both. It isn't known if other whales will understand this one, but there is a sliver of hope that this whale will not be lonely anymore. The other sound recorded in the 80s is known as the Star Wars noise. When people first heard the noise, the first thing they thought of was Star Wars. The sound itself is some kind of sci-fi laser blaster followed by the sound of something like a Wookiee. Here is a small portion of the sound. Recorded off the coast of Australia, people thought the Royal Australian Navy had something to do with it, but they denied all involvement. Though it would in later years be discovered that the sound was being made by dwarf minke whales. Here is a video of dwarf minke whales featuring another version of the sound. The Australians have been researching and befriending dwarf minke whales for a while now, though maybe people like the Monterey Bay Aquarium or SeaWorld could try that out as well. There are many other sounds out there that have been recorded beneath the seas for a while now. Some of them include the Biatwang, recorded in the Western Pacific, possibly made by baleen whales. There are also these baleen whale-like sounds made in the Challenger Deep, sometime before seismic waves are unleashed. Many other sounds exist that have been recorded underwater, even outside of the Pacific Ocean, like the ping in the Canadian Arctic being made in November 2016 and scaring wildlife from the area. The mystery behind the sound hasn't been solved, but theories still exist. There are also these odd alien-like sounds being made by wind putting pressure on the ice shelves in the Arctic, making it useless to form mysteries around said sounds. I'm Caden Van Seal's Microsoft Mic, and remember to subscribe for more videos. Comment below what you think of this one, ideas you might have on what each of these sounds could be, and what you wish could be done with these sounds. One last thing is that Caden is thinking about, once he gets in the motion picture industry and starts working with horror, using the sounds for a major motion picture based on the mysteries around them, possibly a cinematic collaboration with Jendy Tartakovsky. Aside from that, see you all later.